Should we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will present report of brief report of yesterday. What we have learned, what we have discussed yesterday, for 1 or 2 minutes. In between, I am preparing for my today's session. Yes, anybody please? What we have discussed yesterday.
Yesterday we discussed about the societal basis of preschool education. In that we discussed how the society uh, impacts the children with the means of education, and we also discussed about the family, community, school, and school all interacts with the children. We also discussed about the nationalism,
Yeah.
culture, education, etc. Then the challenges that are being discussed in the society towards the children. We all discussed about that. Thank you.
Yeah. So today topic is very important because it's about the philosophy of different thinkers. Wait for a minute. Is it visible? Okay. Sorry. So today we are going to unit number 10, and the topic of unit number 10 is major schools of philosophy. Means what kinds of philosophy. Therefore, today we will discuss the role of philosophy in guiding education. Means what is the role of philosophy in guiding the education. And the second one is what are the viewpoints regarding aim of education, nature of curriculum, methodology, what is the role of teacher given by various philosophy. In this line, we will discuss first idealism. Before going to the idealism or schools of philosophy, we should discuss what is the link between philosophy and education. because philosophy is a way of life, way of thinking, way of opinion, and it's related because philosophy comes from the society, and society is linked with education. Therefore, philosophy is also linked with education. Here, teaching required a careful blending of theory and practice. Theory without practice is insufficient, as well as practice unguided by theory is aimless. And there are six parameters or six important terminology. Number one is metaphysics, and these six terminology will be discussed in detail in different kinds of school of philosophy. These term will be repeatedly many times, so we should be aware what is the meaning of these terms. First is metaphysics. What is metaphysics? The study of nature, ultimate reality, involve speculation about the nature of existence. Basically, metaphysics is beyond of science. Second is epistemology. Epistemology linked with knowledge, the theory of knowing and knowledge. This is called epistemology. Axiology is concerned with value. What is good, what is right is defined by axiology or in discussed with axiology. Why I am discussing these terms? Because if you are preparing some kind of objective type entrance examination also, these terms you will find. Logic. What is logic? Logic is concerned with the rules, pattern of correct and valid thinking. And as a teacher, you must be aware and you may be aware deductive logic and inductive logic. In the science of teaching, there are two methods of teaching. One is inductive method, second is deductive method. So therefore, we should be aware about these two terms also. Deductive logic refer to reasoning that moves from general statement or principle to particular instance or applications. Means general to particular. And deductive logic is reasoning that moves from particular to generalization. Basic difference. Can anybody tell through the example what is deductive and what is inductive in terms of teaching? Any example? Any example? For a second. Yeah. Anybody please? General statement to particular. Okay. Are you from social background, someone? Am I audible or not? Am I?
Yes, yes, sir, audible.
Yes, sir, you are.
Because you people are not interacting, and I thought that I am not audible. See, there was a king. His wife name was Sakuntala, and the name of his son was Bharat. These are the general statement. And if we club all statement together, the name of king was Dushyant. We took 3, 4 small knowledge and forwarded toward particular knowledge. This is a kind of deductive method. And what is inductive? Just just repeat, just opposite, make opposite sentence. The king name was Dushyant and his wife name was Sakuntala. His son name was Bharat, and so on. So this is the basic difference of deductive method and inductive method. You know, these two terms are very precious and very important, and as a teacher we should be aware, because sometimes teacher use deductive method for the teaching and sometimes he or she use inductive method for the teaching. Okay, so we should move towards what are the major schools of philosophy. Philosophy has different kind of ideology or philosophy, and one of them is known as idealism, and it is the oldest philosophy of at least Indian culture, because Indian culture in ancient time was based on idealism. If you add idealism and Vedic ideology, you can understand easily what is idealism. Idealism asserts the primacy of the mental, the spiritual, the ideal as the basic of reality. In idealism, knowing is recognition, and according to ideology, epistemology, education's major goal is to stimulate learners to achieve a more vital and fuller identification with the absolute mind. Means idealism describe about mind, epistemology, and value. And epistemology we have learned in previous slides. Epistemology is referred to education. This is sorry, last one, second one. This is epistemology refer to knowledge. So knowledge, mind, and value, it all are exist in Vedic education. That's why I said that idealism is more or less connected with Vedic education. So what were the aims of education as per idealist? Number one aim, to ensure spiritual development of the individual, to preserve, enrich, and transmit the cultural heritage of man, to explore and realize universal values as truth, goodness, beauty of life, to emancipate or liberate human spirit. These were the aims of education as per the philosophy of idealism. Once aims are decided, curriculum also be on the same line. And what are the curriculum pattern? The idealistic curriculum is based upon the spiritual nature. AMC is spiritual development. Curriculum should also be based on spiritual nature of man. Further, curriculum may include any subject that can foster spiritual development and create an idea self, means to know yourself. Third one, it should reflect the experiences of human race as a whole. What is human? Next, idealism attach great importance to humanities, culture, art, history, philosophy, literature, and religion. If you talk about spiritual and man, therefore, syllabus or curriculum must be based on humanities, culture, art, history, philosophy, and religion. Next, curriculum should contain such subject which will bring about intellectual, aesthetic, and moral development of man. So these are the highlights of idealism, aims of education, and curriculum of the education. What should be the curriculum as per the idealism? And before going to the next, I would like to know from one or two, then what should be the teacher's role as per the idealism? Just guess and interact. If the role of education is to create good human, if the if the aim of education for spiritual development, the aim of education for the to know himself or herself, and what should be the role of teacher? Anybody, please? See, teacher should be also idealistic. Why you are keep quiet today? This is vibrant class.
Sir, may I?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Sir, as per idealism, a teacher should act as a friend,
Yeah,
and
act as a friend. Huh.
yeah, and also while he is acting as a friend, he should encourage the students to participate in all the activities.
Friend as well as guardian also.
Yeah,
Because if you remember in the Gurukul, child has to stay at the Gurukul and teacher has to foster, has to mentor, has to be a guardian of the child. Yes, Mandeep Bhatia, teacher should be ready with the material and to be prepared with the lesson. Yes. Okay. Next.
Teachers should guide the minds of children and purpose for uh, living
Good.
in a wide concept.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Teacher should guide. He should be in the position of kind of teacher role. Yeah. Dr. Chitrarekha, Islam Giri. Yeah. Islam girl. What is needed in Islam?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. Dr. Chitrarekha. What should be the role of teacher as per the idealism?
सर अकॉर्डिंग टू मी मतलब टीचर का
Yeah,
रोल
yeah,
ये
yeah.
होना चाहिए कि
It is
बच्चों
your opinion, your perception only.
हाँ जी सर मेरे अकॉर्डिंग बच्चे के अंदर जो आइडियलिज्म का रूल है ना सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम कि हमें बच्चों के अंदर ऑनेस्टी डेवलप करना
Honesty,
उसके अंदर
exactly.
ईमानदारी का वो लेके आना और उसे ट्रुथ को समझने के लिए मतलब एफर्ट्स करना
Yeah, yeah. Truth is also involved in Satyam Shivam Sundaram.
जी सर
Truth exists in Satyam Shivam Sundaram.
सर कि जैसे हम कहते हैं
सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम में ही सत्य छिपा हुआ है.
जी सर जी बिल्कुल
Yeah.
बिल्कुल उसी के अंदर क्योंकि जब हम यही तो जब तभी तो कहते हैं कि बच्चा भगवान का रूप होता है तो वो तो धीरे धीरे वो उसके अंदर बैड हैबिट्स जो डेवलप ना हो तो आइडियलिज्म इस पर फोकस करता है कि हम शुरू से ही बच्चे को
Yeah.
के अंदर मतलब वैल्यूज डेवलप करें
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, R.S. Dhillon ji.
Sir, I just want to add up to her statement that he can only teach all these things if he has a high moral of life. Like उसके उसमें टीचर के अंदर भी कुछ ऐसी क्वालिटीज होनी चाहिए जिसे वो
Same moral values होनी चाहिए that
Yeah.
he or she can inculcate among the childs. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Good. Mandeep Bhatia, you are not able to open your, you mean unmute yourself. Okay. Teacher should be, what Mandeep has written? Teacher should be able to reach to every child with various activities based on values, and it can be done through stories. See, these are some are the common values of teacher, and it should be inbuilt in each and every teacher. But I am discussing about idealism. Bring leadership quality in the children. Yes. Anybody else?
Teachers should help help develop spiritual development in children.
Good. Good. Okay, well tried. So we should go on the PPT. What your study material say about what is the role of teacher? Role of teacher is the second para, and I will take it first because we have discussed on this. The important role of teachers are the following. Idealism considered teacher as a spiritual guide, because if you see the Vedic time, the aim of education was then it bring the child from darkness to light. Therefore, the teacher should be a spiritual guide who can lead the child from darkness to light. Dark guide is most important and spiritual is also important. And second, well said, the teacher is a friend, philosopher, and guide. Teacher is the embodiment of all virtue and ideals, even values, and should present high standard of behavior and conduct. before pupils. Teacher should maintain value, virtue, and should be ideal for their pupils. Therefore, he should behave properly and should conduct properly, not only in classroom, even outside. Teacher should encourage the pupils to think for themselves, means kind of peer grouping is there. And if you read that Vasudev's Kutumbakam, we all are one. This kind of philosophy should inbuilt in the teacher. The teacher should have deep knowledge of his subject. I think day first and day 2 we discussed, then teacher should be ready to teach. Teacher should be master in his or her subject, and teacher should aware how to teach, how to make interact their students. And the last was, for teaching and learning, there should be a good environment. I think that we have discussed at second day. Yeah. The next is teacher should ensure the spiritual development of pupil. Means he should create a kind of methodology for their kind of evaluation that spiritual developments are coming or not among the pupils. So these are the role of teachers as per the idealism. So what methodology should use idealistic teacher or as per the idealism for their teaching? And Socrates highlighted a theory of idealism. He said teachers should use dialects, question answer. If you see the Vedic time, there was no written, there was no kind of this pen and copy. Teacher used to speak and child or student has to listen and remember for further evaluation, or you will say for further use in their life. At that time, dialect was the kind of teaching methodology. Dialects is a method of discovering the truth of ideas by discussion and logical argument. If teacher says something, teacher should describe in brief, but student that time was to ask their queries and kind of debate exist in that this as per this philosophy even in Veda's time. So logical argument and by the considering ideas that are opposed to each other. So dialect was the main important teaching method as per the idealism. The second is conversation or discourse method, and we have discussed this deductive method and inductive method. Teacher used to various kind of examples and collaborate the new knowledge and new ideas. Lecture method is a kind of dialect. Analytical method means kind of discussion. After discussion, after debating, create new knowledge or create new idea about particular knowledge. And what was the idealistic axiology? Axiology means value. That's why I used first slide to define these terms. axiology, epistemology, metaphysics, inductive, deductive. So idealistic axiology, education is a process of unfolding and developing of the inherent potential. Means every learner has knowledge within or inbuilt in the child, and the role of education is just to carve out that knowledge, just to bring out that knowledge by using the teaching, by using the this various structure of schooling. But idealism accept that everything is within the child. Teacher and teaching role is only to bring out. Learning, as per idealism, learning is a discovery process in which the learner is stimulated, and teacher's role is stimulate the child to recall the truth, whatever present within his or her mind. And a teacher should be, most of you have discussed that teacher should be a moral and cultural exemplar or model of values that represent the highest and the best expression of personal and human development. So, if we summarize that idealism talk about values, truth, and spiritual, based on curriculum was also decided, teaching methodology was also decided, and the role of the teacher were defined. So these are the major points about the idealism. The next philosophy of school is naturalism. Can you tell me the name of philosopher who believe in naturalism, Indian as well as Western? Forget. We have already discussed about
Robert.
Rousseau. The Rousseau was great philosopher of naturalism, and he has given various philosophy, various ideas about naturalism. If we talk about Indian perspective, and what is the name of philosopher? Only one. There are so many. I'm just wanted to move one or two.
Swami Vivekananda.
Yes, Swami Vivekananda. But he was the kind of mix.
Yes,
He was advocate the naturalism as well as idealism also.
I did. Yeah.
Then any other, please?
Rabindranath Tagore.
Rabindranath Tagore. 75% idealist and next rest is naturalist. What about Mahatma Gandhi ji? Because he always talk basic education, and basic education comes from kind of whatever child learn with the help of nature, with the help of environment. Okay. So Once we are discussing, although we will discuss these philosophers, natural philosopher or idealistic philosopher in detail in next session with the name and what they have said. Now we are holistically discussing the schools only. So, what naturalism says about these 4 5 aspects means what is the aim of education as per the naturalism. If you remember what I said about Rousseau, he said that learner should learn herself or himself from the nature. Nature will teach them. The role of teacher is only just to mentor, just to guide. So, what are the aims of education? Self preservation. The child must be able to preserve and protect his or her body. First, he or she should protect his body. It means his health. Since you know, healthy body has healthy mind. So that's why naturalism always advocate that the child should be healthy, and as a result, or to make mind healthy, the person, sorry, the child should be healthy. Means health, he has linked relation between health and mind. So aim of education as per the naturalism, the education should be like that child must be able to preserve and protect his health as well as mind, as it is important for his mind. The second is securing necessities of life. If life is there, then we will learn many things as per the philosophy of naturalism. The aim of education should be equip the individual to struggle for existence and thus to ensure his or her survival. Means the aim of education must be the child should be aware how he can survive. For example, I have already discussed that Rousseau said if the child is going towards fire, let him or go. After feeling the heat, he or she will come back. Nature tells the child what is good, what is right, as per the naturalism. Maintenance of social and political relations. Therefore, education should enable the child to adjust with the environment. Naturalism always advocate about the enjoyment of individual because as per the naturalism, one should enjoy with life, with learning of environment, learning of nature, and learning of themselves. And the most important aims of education as per the naturalism, personality development. So what kind should be the curriculum? Means what was the nature of curriculum as per the naturalism? Since curriculum is based on the nature of the child and what is or her interest, so curriculum should be based on nature of the child and what is the interest of child. Means interest and the nature should be linked with each other. The curriculum lays stress on subjects what are helpful in self preservation, which type of subjects should be there. The subject should be there as per the naturalism, which can help the child for self-preservation. The naturalism also talk about there should be kind of stress on basic sciences. But mostly naturalism emphasizes on physical and health education. Next. So what should be the method of instruction and methodology of teaching? As per the naturalism advocated that there should be play-way method. If I say means activity-based teaching, play-way method. Play is the natural activity of the child and natural mode of education. So therefore, child must be taught by using the play-way method. Second is learning by doing. Let child should learn by doing himself or herself. Means self-activity. The method of teaching should be self-activity. There should be a kind of activity base, and moreover it should be based on self. Child must be encouraged to do self-activity as well as participation. The third is learning by experiences. One experience can be used in second experience or third experience. So as per the naturalism, the teaching should be that learning by experiencing. The child learns through his or her personal experience with nature. There are so many examples. When we will discuss about Rousseau, when we will know about what kind of experiences and how these experiences can correlate and can be utilized for further education. Learning through observation. If you are observing that fire is not useful, fire is not good for the child, means child should not go into the fire. If one child learn that I should not go, the second child also be aware that yes, if he has not entered into the fire, I should not. So observation and experimentation are recommended by naturalists for learning science subject. Sorry. Heuristic method. Heuristic means to know about to know new things. Investigation of new things. So naturalism advocates heuristic method for learning science and mathematics, because heuristic method always useful for learning of science and mathematics. This involves learning through discovery method, and a child is allowed to seek fact on her own without the teacher dictating facts to the child. I'm just giving one example. You must be aware that the area of circle is pi r square. That may not be learned by each and every student. If you show it through some kind of activity, means just cut the circle in such a way to make a rectangle and If you calculate the area of rectangle, then it will become pi r square only. There are so many examples. A plus b whole square is equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square. It can be proved, but through various methods, learner or child should be motivated to draw the new facts or new way to reach the truth. So if I say the methodology of naturalism was fantastic, activity based, proof based, and third one is heuristic, always eager to know new things. It was not like just like that we read something. This is our culture. This is our heritage. Yes, these are of course important, but new ideas, new theory, new knowledge should always be welcome, and naturalism advocate about that. So, what should be the role of teacher? According to naturalist, nature is supreme teacher. As I said, as per the naturalist, nature is only who can teach, and nature is the supreme teacher. We, as are a teacher, should be a kind of guide only, kind of a mentor only. The teacher should facilitate also. Yes, the teacher should facilitate the process of natural development of the learner, and it is the responsibility of teacher to create an ideal environment for natural development of the child. So these were the highlights about the naturalism. The next philosophy of school is pragmatism. So we will discuss what pragmatism says about the aims of education. The aims of education, as per the pragmatism, to cultivate a dynamic and adaptive mind, and that is resourceful and enterprising in all situations. Pragmatism says that aim of education should be like that education should be dynamic and adaptive, means knowledge or education, whatever you say, should be dynamic and adaptive. Second is to bring about all round harmonious development of the individual by directing her or his impulses, interests, and abilities toward the satisfaction of his or her needs in the particular environment of the child. To enable the learners to reconstruct his or her experiences continuously in the light of new situations, so that the learner may become able to control their environment and fulfill their aims. The aim of education of pragmatism to produce socially competent, economically efficient, and cultured person, to enable the child to create new realities, values for optimum personal and social adjustment in the creative manner. If we summarize, what should be the aim of education as per the pragmatism. Pragmatism means we talk about what is reality, accept reality, what you are, what is your environment, what is your need, what is your social demand, social and as well personal demand. So aims of education should be based on these facts. So what should be the nature of curriculum? Nature of curriculum as per the pragmatism talk about principles of utility. Means education should be like that, that should be utilized for the society. It regards utility as the prime mover in the determination of curriculum. Accordingly, only those subjects, activities, and experience should be included in the curriculum which are useful for present and future needs of the child. The second is principle of interest. The interest of child or learner are paramount interest in designing the curriculum. Means the curriculum should be based on the interest of the society, of the learners, of the needs. Principle of experience. The curriculum should have experience that leads to learning. Pragmatism lays emphasis on practical work. Means pragmatism advocate about the practicals. Whatever is truth, that should be based on kind of observation and result. Child's activity, vocation, and experience. Pragmatism also uh, slightly advocate that learning should be by doing. It was the important point as per the ideology, as per the philosophy of naturalism. So pragmatism also say about that, and learning should be by doing. That's why pragmatism advocated practical work, child activity, and experience, etc. Principle of correlation. Pragmatism advocates correlated teaching of different subjects for effective learning. Means if I learn some knowledge for mathematics, that should be utilized in economics as well as commerce as well as engineering subject, even in medical subjects. So interdisciplinary approach rather than individual subject bound in watertight compartment is required. For instance, while teaching language, we may include topics on environment, road safety, living being, and so on. There are so many examples. If we are teaching language, then the topic on nationalism and even philosophy of schools may also be included. This should be kind of interdisciplinary link between the all subjects that is advocated by pragmatism. And what should be the method of teaching? Pragmatism emphasizes purposive learning. If pragmatism emphasis on purposive learning, then learning is made purposeful by providing real life situations according to the natural interest, aptitude, ability, experience of the learner. So teaching of methodology should be based on this fact. Again, if we talk about teaching, then teaching should be learning by doing. Learning experience should be imparted to the learners through activity and practical activities and practical experiences. Pragmatism require correlative teaching, as we have discussed in previous slides, means teaching by linking subject areas and adopting an interdisciplinary approach. As per the pragmatism, the methodology of teachers should be that should provide experience to the learner by employing correlation and integration of all subject activities and experiences. Pragmatism recommend project method. Practical activity and project method is same, and problem solving method. Yes, it comes new that pragmatism, as per pragmatism, teaching should be problem based teaching, problem solving teaching. Project method is a contribution of pragmatist philosophy in education. Before that, project method was not there. If somebody asks you, then project method is contributed by which philosophy? Then project method is contributed by the pragmatism. So what should be the role of teacher as per pragmatism? Pragmatism regards teacher as a facilitator and guide. If you see the all school, only in idealism, teacher is center. Otherwise, in other school, other philosophy, there is a child-centered education. So, teacher should be facilitator and guide. Pragmatism considered teacher as an arranger of experience, stage setter, director, facilitator, motivator. A teacher should be a good guide, friend, and philosopher. Pupils should think and act for themselves, do rather than to know, organize, or generate rather than repeat. So, this is about the pragmatism. Next school is existentialism. So, what should be the aim of education? The aim of education is to lead an authentic life, because this school of philosophy advocate about what is exist that should be discussed, that should be taught with the, that should be shared with the student, with the child, and which is based on harmony and responsibility. The aims of education is that only education should be for life. Education is the preparation for the state of being, enable one to take decision about him or herself, and to make the individual as a person who is human. Basically, this philosophy follow a humanistic approach. whatever is exist, whatever is true, it is focused on humanistic approach. Excuse me. Yeah. So, what is the nature of curriculum? As per the existentialism, it is focused on the individual student. Students freely choose part of the curriculum. It is not very favorable toward the study of science subject, which impart objective knowledge, which attach importance of the subjective knowledge rather than objective knowledge, because objective truth discipline man away from his or her own self. Because as you all are aware and we have discussed, it's advocate about the existence and individual to encourage the self-realization. Existentialism particularly favor religious and moral education. And you know, these moral and religious education comes from literature, ethics. Therefore, it strongly recommends the teaching of humanities, ethics, art, literature, drama, music, and social studies should be the part of curriculum. Mastering of 3 hours at elementary stage, although it is kindly silent about the science, but it talk about 3 hours at elementary stage. Are you remember what is 3 hour or forgotten?
It's reading, writing,
we-
and arithmetic.
Yeah, it is reading, writing, and arithmetic. So mastering of 3 hours at elementary stage and teaching of foreign language, because it's advocate about the religious and moral education. So language, foreign language also exist. Logic, sociology, anthropology, music, art, mathematics, philosophy at higher level is proposed by this school. Means this school is silent about science, but she talks about languages, history, philosophy, sociology, even mathematics, music. Next. So what should be that methodology of teaching? Socrates' method in classroom teaching. You know, Socrates used the dialect method only. question answer method is known as Socratic method. Socrates used dialect method. So in Socrates method, teacher seeks to draw the information through question answers. From the learners by means of skillfully directed questions. Basically, two-way interactions. It is not one way. Learning is self-paced, self-directed, and include a great deal of individual connect with your teacher. It includes asking questions, refining answer. If teacher asks any question, students reply, then it is a duty of teacher for refining the answers, asking more questions, and probing the issues until some acceptable conclusion is reached. The kind of inward questioning or self-questioning is encouraged by the teacher to awaken awareness in the learner. It allows the students of freedom of choice and provide him or herself with experiences that will help him or her to know about themselves and recognize themselves being. So this is the means teaching methodology should be based on dialect, should be encourageable, it should provide freedom of question answering. So next, what is the role of teacher? The role of teacher is to help students define their own ease by exposing them to various paths they may take in life. ये टीचर को बताना है कि उनको सही रास्ते पर हैं या गलत पर. इवन उनको सही रास्ता ही बताना है कि यू शुड गो ऑन दैट पाथ. To help the students to be original and authentic in developing values, instead of imposing the values of the teacher upon students. As we have already discussed, and freedom should be given to the learner. It should not be kind of impose of interest, impose of values, impose of. The value should be developed. That should be original and authentic. But through the question answering only. There should not be kind of imposement. And teachers should develop the ability to choose, make good choice in the learner, to educate the students to learn to face the consequences of his or her own choice, to guide, to counsel the students to attain realization of inner self, whatever he learn through his or her free existence. As per the philosophy, a teacher should not influence students. Imposement or influence is same things, more or less same. Teacher are only resources and the students may choose to use for assistance. Next school is realism. And what is the curriculum as per the realism? The realism lays emphasis on finding out the truth. It implies that in the curriculum, science should be given a prominent place. If you remember, in previous philosophy, science was kind of neglected, but in this particular realism school, the curriculum should be based on science, and it should be science. The prominent place should be given to the science. The realism stand for the diversification of courses which are related to life. Just link science and life with each other. So realism includes contemporary events in the curriculum. Realism lays stress on inclusion of vocational course. Vocational course are slightly directly or indirectly correlated with the sciences. So realism insists on practical utility. You all are aware that science is totally based on practical. So realism insists that practical utility of the subject should be the main consideration in the inclusion of subject in the curriculum. So if we are talking about science, so method of teaching should be also based in the theory of realism. So what should be the method of teaching? One must look at nature. One must look to nature and to human nature as part of the natural order for the purpose of education. Means methodology should be kind of naturalistic as well as pragmatism. The key to understanding nature is through the senses. Sensitization is the basic basis of our knowledge of reality. Means realism talk about what is reality, and you know where we are living. Then science is around us, so it's advocate about the science. It advocate about the curriculum must be based on science and practical based. The key to understanding nature that we have discussed, because nature is process are slow, gradual, and evolutionary. Our education should be unhurried. Next, what should be the aim of education? The aim of education, as per realism, the child should be prepared for a happy and successful life in kind of luxury. Education should be planned in such a way that it prepares the child for real life. Mental and physical faculties of the child should be developed. The sense of the child should be developed through appropriate experiences. Education should provide the child with the knowledge of both the society and external science, external nature. External nature means science. Child should be trained for vocational pursuit. Means as per realism, vocational education also given some kind of importance. And what is the role of education? Sorry, what is the role of teacher? Realism does not attach as much importance to the personality of teacher as an idealist. A teacher may be only a facilitator who can facilitate learning. In one line, he defined what is the role of teacher. Means teacher should be a facilitator. So these are the major school: idealism, pragmatism, existentialism, realism, if we discuss further this. Hello? Yes, anyone? Just yes. So, dear friends, there is a heavy load for tomorrow because today this is only from my side. If you have any question, then we will try to complete this MES-081 by tomorrow. If you have any question, please welcome.
Sir, I want to ask that will you inform us about the assignment making? What are the do's and don'ts for the assignment making? Will you please let us know about a brief about it?
Assignment.
Yes, sir, assignment making.
Yeah. What you would like to know? See, I can just guide you how should assignment be prepared. Very simple, simple things.
Yes, sir,
Number
exactly.
one, number one, whatever paper you are using, it may be lined or plain. Your assignment should be handwritten. Number one, it should not be typed. And your assignments are available on IGNOU website. Download it, take print out. There are questions, and you have to answer of these questions. For that, write question number one in black pen and give answer in blue pen. You may use headings or you may underline the facts, but one thing is important: there should be a space in right and left side. Why it is required? When you're writing your assignments, it is a kind of preparation for your final term and examination. If you are aware, then your evaluated assignments will return to you, and for that you have to contact your study center. You may ask your evaluated assignment, in which you will see there are some marginal comment. If you will not leave margin, then teacher or evaluator will not be able to provide your marginal comments. For example, you are writing your question in good manner, but if teachers wants to some add that dear learner, you have written very good answer, but if you would have include this line or this fact, then your answer would be most appropriate answer and you may achieve good marks in your final examination. So my advice is that please leave little space in left and right even after the answer of your first question. Number one. Number two, write the normal information like your name, what is your enrollment number, what is your study center code, what is your study center address. Please don't mix enrollment number and mobile number at similar place. Sometimes what happened, your evaluator evaluated your answer, evaluated your assignment and giving some grade and marks, but on your enrollment number, not on your enrollment number, on your mobile number, because the digit of mobile number is 10 and right now your enrollment number is also having 10 digits. So please, when you writing your enrollment, your mobile number should be at the last with your address. So this is the and one most important, your assignment should be in your own language. It should not be bookish. It is not expected from you. Then you write your assignment as given in your study material, because you always forgotten. You always write. Then para number 1 is given that bookish language. No, and teacher will know that it is a kind of copied case from your study material. So you learn your study material and write your answer in your own language, in your own pace. So this is from my side, how to write your assignment, and last dates are given. Submit your assignment before last date. So we will meet tomorrow. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.